Hi guys, I'm Nat and I'm a second year BIMM's Popular Music Performance student at BIMM London, and I'm here to give you some tips and answer some frequently asked questions that prospective students often have about accommodation. How did you find your accommodation when you first started at BIMM? As soon as I accepted my place, I started looking for places just to give me a rough idea of prices and what kind of accommodation there was. I find it's best to start seriously looking about 2 months before you're due to start your course. If you look much before that, it's likely that a lot of landlords and estate agents will say that your move-in date is too far in the future, as they'll have other people looking who could potentially move in sooner. On the other hand, don't leave it too late to start looking. Searching and doing your research in advance will reduce your stress and panic and allow you to conduct viewings at your own leisurely pace rather than rushing to find somewhere at the last minute. How much on average do students spend in London? It really depends on what zone of London you're looking in. In areas like Hammersmith, Fulham, Parsons Green and Chelsea, you're typically looking at £500 per month at the cheapest and over £1,000 a month for the more lavish places, or even for an average studio flat because they are always more expensive. Generally, the most common figures that I've come across in these areas are between £600 and £750. Of course, there are much cheaper places in other areas of London. It just depends on how far away from BIMM you're willing to stay and how long or short you want your commute to BIMM to be. There are some student accommodation buildings around the area too, however these can be more on the pricey side in comparison with private housing. Are there any areas in London you would recommend for students? Anywhere with good transport links is a good choice for starters. It means you can get around the city efficiently and explore all that London has to offer. Anywhere with a District or Piccadilly line close by can be really helpful, as it makes getting into central London and popular tourist areas really easy. Also, finding somewhere that has utilities and amenities around like shopping centres, supermarkets, recreational activities is great because it means you won't have to make long journeys for the things that you might need. Personally, I love living in the Fulham area, as a lot of my BIMM friends live within walking distance or just a few stops away on a bus or a train. It's also within walking distance to Chelsea, which has some really nice bars and restaurants. Fulham also has great transport links, including the District line, which can easily get you into the city centre, and a bus that can take you there as well, and loads of restaurants and cafes. We've got a cinema in Fulham Broadway station. Areas that surround BIMM are Clapham, Wandsworth, Shepherd's Bush, Earl's Court, Hammersmith, Putney, Parsons Green, Chelsea and West Kensington. What kind of support is on offer for international students looking for accommodation? Your first port of call will be student support, who are equipped with loads of staff members who will gladly help you when it comes to filling out your tenancy applications, obtaining a guarantor, or communicating with landlords and agencies if English isn't your first language. Is it possible to sign up for accommodation before coming to the UK? Yes, it is. Signing up for student accommodation from anywhere is relatively simple and usually just requires applying online and filling out some forms. With regards to housing through a landlord or estate agent, it is best to go for a physical viewing if you can, because there can be situations in which people try to scam you by taking a deposit from you and then disappearing, or showing you old pictures of when a property was brand new, only for you to find out that it looks nothing like that once you arrive. Going for viewings means that you're seeing the property in the current state that it's in, meeting potential current housemates who can get to know you a bit before you move in, and you're able to wait until you've evaluated it thoroughly before handing over your money. Of course, you can sort out your accommodation prior to coming to the UK, but where possible, it's best to do it once you're here, and then you can keep on top of everything much easier. What should I be looking for when viewing accommodation? Ideally, you'll want somewhere that has the means of transport for you to easily travel to BIMM, as you'll be there at least 3 days a week. You'll also want somewhere that is furnished so that you don't have to worry about buying and fitting furniture. Finding places that accept students is a must, because some landlords and agencies explicitly don't want students and would rather have tenants who are employed full-time and not relying on their maintenance loan to pay their rent. Some places are only available during the week, so ideally you want somewhere where you can stay 7 days per week, which you can specify in the filters on platforms such as Spare Room. It's also helpful to find places with tenants of a similar age to you, as it will most likely help you bond and create a nice household vibe. And even better if they're musicians too, as it means you won't get any noise complaints. On a serious note though, I advise that you always tell landlords, estate agents and current flatmates or tenants that you're a musician if you are, when you're inquiring about viewing a property, just so that they're aware that you'll be practicing at home and can let you know in advance whether that would be an issue for them or not. And now time for some bonus tips. Number 1, apply for a student Oyster card for up to 30% off your travel in London. Number 2, once you've enrolled at BIMM, ask student support for a student status letter, which will give you exemption from paying council tax in private housing. Number 3, join the BIMM accommodation page on Facebook to find people to live with or properties to look at, and just to bond with people generally and get to know them before you start. And number 4, always go for viewings when it comes to private housing through landlords and estate agents. Hope this has been helpful, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Bye!